Hey guys, Brian here from Better Chess Training, and today I'd like to share a game with you. Larry Christiansen against Walter Brown, Las Vegas, 1990. Beautiful game. Check it out. Hey guys, today I wanted to share a game that I discussed on my stream the other day, and this is a game between Grandmaster Larry Christiansen, who has the white pieces, and Walter Brown, two American Grandmasters, and this game was played in Las Vegas in 1990. And let's get started. A c4, English opening, e5, one of the most principled ways of meeting this. Knight to c3, knight to c6, knight to f3, and f5. Now, oftentimes, you look at this at like a colors reverse situation. This is sort of like a Grand Prix attack. On the stream, though, we discussed a lot of times, even though the structures are similar, players won't often play, strong players won't necessarily play colors reversed because of even just the change in tempo is going to change some of the plans. So it's not necessarily not a horrible strategy, but not necessarily um, beneficial to play both sides of it. Okay, d4 and e4. Okay, and attacking this knight, and knight to e5 is played. Knight takes e5, d takes e5, knight to e7, bishop to g5, pinning the knight to the queen. h6, getting rid of that, and here bishop to h4. And the thought here, when I was discussing this with the audience on stream, was that we should exchange because otherwise this bishop will get trapped. And the problem with that is it's not really a big problem, but bishop to e7 just helps the development. Let's say e3 to develop here, then we castle, and then I think that black's game is just fine. Pawn is going to be weak, and um, white hasn't really done much to develop his own pieces. And besides the game move, something like bishop to e3, bishop to d2 kind of hampers white's own development. So bishop to h4. And here c6 was played. Real quick, it's important to understand here why g5 wasn't played. And the general idea is that e3, with this queen coming out to h5 was big danger. For example, he takes h4 and queen to h5, knight to g6, queen takes g6, king to e7, and here knight to d5 is mate. So the whole idea of trapping the bishop just doesn't work. Okay, c6. The idea here of getting this queen out as well as potentially playing d5 at some point or d6. e3, now with the queen coming out, and here queen to a5. Of course, we can't play queen to h4 check because g6, pretty easy way to stop it. Bishop to g3, defending the pawn now that the queen is attacking it, and g6, stopping any queen to h4 ideas, as well as looking to develop this bishop on g7. Okay, so here we were looking for some maybe more aggressive ideas, like something like queen to d6, something to blockade here. But I think it's important at this point, and Grandmaster Christiansen did as well, to just develop, really get that king to safety because this knight is pinned here, and something like d5 with knight takes d5 after, to attack this pinned piece might be on the cards if we take too long to get our king to safety. Bishop to e2 was played, and now h5. So the idea, of course, here is expanding on the king's side. By the way, black could have also chosen to play bishop to g7 here, but then in that case, I think a move like queen to d6 is actually quite promising. Okay, this light square bishop going to be shut out for a while. G6 needs to be tended to, and it just looks really good for white here. Okay, going back to the game, H5, and then A3 was played. H4, and natural move, bishop to F4. Here, B5. So one of the ideas we had was to play bishop to H5 check, then after king to D8, play bishop takes G5. And I think that move is actually fine, but Christiansen played bishop takes G5 right away. Giving up this pawn, queen takes E5, and bishop to F4. Now see what happened here, which is kind of neat. We took this pawn, and then he takes the central pawn, but now this bishop has a very nice outpost here on F4. Okay, queen to F6, and here white castles. At first we were wondering it's a little dangerous here with this open G file, but if you think about it, they're really white has a lot of ways to defend, and it'll be very difficult, I think, for black to break through. Okay, knight to G6, attacking attacking this bishop on F4. And one idea is to play bishop to H5. That would pin this knight. Then, because this F4, this dark square bishop seems a lot more active, maybe a little more important than the light square bishop. But the reasoning why this wasn't played is that we think that Christiansen evaluated that he would need as much material as possible. And that makes a lot of sense, and that's kind of a general principle that when you are the attacker, when you're the person with the initiative, you want to have as much attacking forces as possible. Of course, there's exceptions to this depending on the specific situation, but I think that was the reasoning. So instead, he played bishop to c7, and now this is kind of a risky play, which I have no doubt that Grandmaster Christiansen saw because he was a terrific attacker, terrific calculator, and black plays e6, and the idea is to try to corral this bishop. Okay, well, instead of, we were thinking that maybe he would have to play bishop to a5 right away, but we think that gives a big initiative to black. So instead, f3. Okay, just opening this up. Look, this rook here is eyeing this queen, and so white tries to break open here. He is ahead on development. Look at these two bishops just sitting there on their original squares. Queen to e7, getting out of the way, and now bishop to a5. Okay, b6, and here again we were looking at bishop to b4, and if c5 we had something like this, knight to c5. And actually, I don't think this is a horrible move in any case, but not the one he played. So also with bishop to b4, instead of c5, something that was overlooked by us as we were watching this was a5, avoiding all of that trouble, winning this bishop. So instead, Christiansen played a different move. So after b6, he played queen to a4. So now after b takes a5, we have queen takes c6 check, and we got this rook here, a1. So black had to play queen to b7, protecting the c6 square. And here, now this is where white opens up the game. F takes e4. Now this F file opens up a little bit. He takes a5. So this is sacrificing this bishop. But again, I think, and part of this, I think, for a player as strong as Grandmaster Christiansen and as good of an attacker, some of this may have been instinctual, that this was a good idea. But I also have no doubt that he had the ability to calculate what comes next. So let's take a look. B takes a5, and here c5. What's the idea behind this? Well, this Queen is has been shut out here on the A file for a few moves, and C5 is the idea here is just to bring this queen back into the game. Okay, knight to E5. Okay, and here he takes F5. We actually were toying around with queen to D4, this pin, and I think that would have been interesting as well. Okay, queen to G7 and F6, pushing this queen around, and watch what happens next. Queen to G6, F7 check. Now we cannot take here with the knight because of queen takes C6 check. So the king has to go to E7. Knight to D5 check. And again, can't just take the knight because of queen to E8 is mate. So the king has to go to D7. Knight to F6 check. King to E6. And here I'm going to challenge you to, if you want, pause the video and try to come up with white's next move. And this move shows us why Grandmaster Christiansen was such a master attacker. Just going to pause for a minute here. A couple seconds. Okay, well, here white plays rook a to d1, taking a moment to bring his least active piece into the game. Okay, rook to b8, bishop to c4 check, and just so you know, if you thought of d5 here, sequence like knight takes d5, c takes d5, bishop takes d5, and king to e7, and again we have this mate here on e8. So black had to take on c6, queen takes c4 check, and again d5 doesn't work because of queen takes d5. Okay, king to e7, c takes d6 check, king to d8, and everything here is pretty much forced. Queen takes c6, queen takes f7, knight to d5, queen to b7, and here queen to c7 check, and black resign. And show you why it's a forced mating sequence. Queen takes c7, d takes c7 check, king to d7, c takes b8 queen, and then from here again it is forced, and the best resistance here, bishop to 6, knight to e7 check, king takes e7, queen to c7 check, king to e6, queen takes e6 check, king to e7, and then finishing it off here with the d7 mate. But as I mentioned back here, after queen to c7 check, black resigns. So a really great attacking game by Grandmaster Larry Christiansen. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. This video was based on analysis that I did on my Twitch stream on Tuesday. And here's my new schedule I'm going to be trying to keep up with. You're going to have videos on Mondays and Thursdays. And on Tuesdays, I'm going to be streaming on Twitch. You can check out the link down below. On Fridays, I'm going to be streaming on YouTube live. So just come right back here. And on Wednesdays, I have my Backrankbrawler's notebook on chess.com. That's a weekly game analysis article that I do. So you can check that out as well. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.